it's been a great initiative because I think at the end of it, I strongly believe it's going to be extremely beneficial to the industry. Capture, distribute, and use, but identify the data, retrieving the data, sharing them as enterprise assets. But now fast forward 20 years thereafter, from 1997 or so to now, I think there's been a sea of change that has happened. Ganesh talked about the major challenges we face at this point of time on globalization, protectionism, and so on and so forth. And then both Shashi as well as Professor Pathak talked about the technology is disruptive, and then they said, as always. But I think Professor Pathak went further in describing how disruptive this is. But two or three things I like to point out is one is that knowledge management has taken or morphed itself into a different mode given the presence of social media at this point of time. Because in the very original days, the large amount, the only source of knowledge was coming from, for an enterprise, was from its employees. That's not any longer true. You have so much amount of knowledge which is lying outside the enterprise, which is still could be extremely beneficial to the enterprise. People have to start recognizing there is social media outside. There's no denying that the form and etiology of the way in which this content comes out is far different from the structured content that we all work with in our enterprises. But all the same, there are enough of artificial intelligence tools that are there which can manage this unstructured data. The second point I'd like to make is that the technology is disruptive, as always, and Professor Pathak said a few more things after that. But I personally believe that technology has not been as disruptive as it is at this point of time in the history of mankind. Two things come very intensely. One is that the pace of change of technology, or I keep calling it as velocity of change, has dramatically increased. What is true yesterday is not true today. That's how the technology is changing. And the second thing that we are also seeing, that the predictability of change has also come down quite dramatically. Velocity has gone up, predictability has come down. So understandably, many people talk about this world to be VUCA world, the volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous world as they would call it. But then, that's a fact of life. So now, knowledge management also has to definitely start working in an environment which is far different from what it was in the past. Complexity, I think Professor Pathak mentioned about it, is look at the interdisciplinary nature with which knowledge has to come by. Let me take a very small example, an automobile. When I say an automobile to a mechanical engineer, what typically comes to his mind or her mind is an internal combustion engine. Automobile was driven by an engine. That was fairly simple, straightforward. People like me learned all about different types of IC engines for a class which ran for 6 months. But today, you open the bonnet of a Tesla Motor Company's car, look from every different possible direction, there's no engine left inside, right? So, and then, let me further go down, and then, we also spend considerable amount of time in terms of learning what is called as a rack and pinion arrangement. What is this? The steering wheel, if you look at it, goes in vertical direction, whereas the wheels move in the horizontal direction. So that was the second one they taught us. And a third one they taught us, which is the most complex even to me at one point in time in my life, was all about differential. The big stuff, the big thing that sits, even if you probably peep down below a truck, you'll find it. Huge assembly, metal all over the place. What is it supposed to be doing? Is that if you take turns, I'm sure, simple logic, is that the inner wheel would be moving at a slower speed compared to the outer wheel. So you go back and look at Tesla Motor Company back again. You don't find any of these. They've all disappeared now. So where have they gone? He has put 4 motors and 4 wheels. and they are the ones which are propelling the wheels. They are the ones which are providing the energy to the automobile. Then you search around and say, where is the battery then? So people are talking all about batteries. Where did Elon Musk put the batteries? So Elon Musk decided that the floor plate itself would be the battery. So he energized the floor plate to see that you can tap the energy from the battery itself. And then he said, you don't require rack and pinion, you don't require differential, what you will require is sensors, which will tell you how much the wheel has to turn or what should be the speed of different wheels at any point of time.